Well, welcome to the National Real Estate Cafe, where we're going to keep you in the know, where it's more important than ever during the COVID-19 virus. Right, Gino?
Yeah, and sometimes, Don, I'm not much into these slideshows, but I think that this one did a really good job of kind of putting together some of the real basics about why we shouldn't have a housing crash this time.
I agree. So what we want to do is you're going to hear, there's a lot of fear out there. Fear is what sells in the market. And you heard us say it for 10 years on the radio and 3 or 4 years on our podcast, that fear sells. And that's what we try to educate you on, and what's really happening in the markets. And right now, you're going to hear about a recession. Is it coming? Yes. Is it going to cause a housing crash? We don't think so. And I think this article did a great job with it, right, Gino?
Yeah, so let's kind of start sliding up there, Don, so that we do it in some sort of order and I don't jump around. Okay, what is a recession? That's really nice and basic. It's actually 2 consequent quarters of negative GDP, which we are definitely going to have. So is there going to be a recession? 100% for sure we're going to have a recession, driven by unemployment, driven by the shutdown, driven by the COVID virus. But we are absolutely going to have a recession. Now, some people will say that we were going to have one anyway, et cetera, but this definitely brought it to light right now. It's a catalyst, as I like to always say. It has to be a catalyst.
So I love this chart that they gave us, and we've shared this before, but this is during the last 5 recessions where everybody thinks that housing will go down. And as you can see, in a lot of the recessions, the housing market actually still goes up in value. Just a little bit in 91, which was kind of a housing recession. And then, of course, 2008 was the great housing recession. I don't know, it wasn't even a great recession, it was a housing recession. But other than that, house prices usually actually go up, and we feel they're definitely going to go up because we have a lot of pent-up demand.
So the reason that housing prices typically go up is because interest rates always drop. I say almost always drop. And you're already seeing it. We're already seeing interest rates dropping. We're seeing the Fed get more involved with forcing interest rates down than they ever have. And that's going to help us with something we're talk about later. They're trying to fuel a fast recovery.
Right. And I love this comment. And this is something we've been saying over and over and over. And we love getting experts like Robert Deeds, chief economist with National Association of Home Builders, basically stating that we're not going to have a housing recession due to the fact that bottom line is we were way underbuilt. The last housing crash was where we were overbuilt. Now we're way underbuilt. We have so much pent up demand for 10 years during the Great Recession that we still don't have enough homes.
Yeah, we definitely still have an inventory problem, and that's one of the things that drives values. This was really good, Don. I'll let you talk to this because I know this was one of your favorite things on here.
This was something really cool because you're going to say, well, why won't this affect the housing market? And it'll affect it temporarily, and then it'll bounce back just like the V curve we're talking about with the recession. But I love this is that this great recession is not for the housing market, or the housing industry. It's really for leisure, hospitality, trade, and transportation. They are the ones who are going to feel this the most, and we feel for them because we've been through these in the housing market, and they're the ones who are going to feel it the most.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine, like, when is the cruise industry going to recover, Don? That's going to take years before the cruise industry can recover. Hotels, years before we all start going and spending money and spending time at hotels the way that we used to. Now, it doesn't mean that we won't. It just means it won't happen immediately, and it won't be the way that we used to. And until we have a vaccine, we probably won't feel totally comfortable being in very, very tight quarters with other families.
I hear you. I know we're all talking about that. I'm looking at a vacation. I'm like, oh, I won't be on a cruise. Sorry, guys. But the good news is
Airbnb in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. Actually, I just talked to Christy about that. I'm like, we can just get a hotel room and just sit in our hotel room and look at the beach. It's all good. Can't go on the beach, but we can just chill and enjoy it. So the good news is that we feel, and we agree with a lot of the experts, that this will be a sharp recovery, and it'll be led actually by the housing sector, because that's where a lot of the jobs will be, and that will help. I mean, it's a big portion of our GDP is the housing sector, like 25% or something like that.
When you think about the problems we were having with the lack of inventory, a lack of contractors, because we actually had a shortage of contractors for a very long time, I think you're probably going to see some of the people that are in hospitality move into construction. And, the reason is that the government's really this time, what they've shown that they've done in the stock market so far as an example of that, is in the last one, they trailed behind with action because they felt that those that were being hurt were responsible for what was happening and they needed to be taught a lesson. This was nobody's fault. This
Right.
is just something that happened. And so we will print money. We will throw the book at it. We will increase the Fed balance sheet. We'll create monetary vehicles that have never existed before to get us back out of this and put the economy back to where it needs to be. And not to mention it's an election year. So that'll,
There's that. Well, and they've done a really good job of attacking this, like you said, Gino, immediately to help business not fall completely flat on their face. They're trying to keep them afloat, keep Americans afloat so that we can go right back to, hopefully a robust economy again. Other than some of the, like you said, some of the industries will be slow to recover. Some will be actually faster and actually be able to hire some of those people from the other sectors.
yep.
So I think
We had a full employment market. It was hard to get people. So I think it'll be a good opportunity to get good people that are available again. Maybe people change what they want to do. They have a different outlook on life. And maybe people also want to get a different home to be trapped in for the next pandemic.
well, and this is an opportunity for first-time home buyers or move-up buyers because rates are going to be phenomenal. It's going to be some of the best, purchasing power you're ever going to see. Affordability is going to be one of the best probably we've seen in decades.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not all bad for everyone. We pray for all of you that are dealing with it, and we know we'll get through this. We've gone through a lot of issues. I've gone through 4 of these up and down markets in the real estate industry.
Hey, all those markets that you just showed on the screen, they've been through all of them, Don.
Well, we thank you for being part of the National Real Estate Cafe and the Don and Gino Show. You can always find out more at donandgino.com. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe on that, and we'll provide you with great, real information about what's really happening today. And tune in tomorrow, there'll be more.
All right.
Have a good day.